I'm in the city of Offenbach near Frankfurt in Germany. This major economic hub hosts a large number of migrants who sometimes face challenges to integrate into the labor market and into the local community. But new initiatives on minimum income could help reverse this trend. I first meet with the Milanovs on the shores of the Main River in Offenbach. This Turkish-speaking family with 3 children migrated from Bulgaria to Germany 10 years ago. It's been a decade of hardships marked by unstable jobs, homelessness, as well as language and cultural barriers. But in the last 2 years, a publicly funded social safety net has allowed this family to foresee a brighter future.
After I lost my job, I went to see the state and they helped me. We had no place to stay, no flat, but they found us a place to stay, a flat right away. They found a place for my children at school and they supported us. They also explained to us how to live in Germany.
The Milanov family is now part of a pilot project funded by the European Union. Called CRIS for Cooperate, Reach Out, Integrate Services, the goal is to find new ways of addressing the issues faced by the most vulnerable. For Sadar Damar, the coordinator of this initiative at the Offenbach Municipal Job Center, minimum income schemes need to be more personalized and holistic.
We have more success when the people trust us, when they see that they are not a number and that we care about the whole family, that we take their problems and worries seriously. We also take their health problems seriously, and that makes them feel taken care of. They feel integrated in Germany, they feel accepted, and I think that is the best way to build a common life together with these people and a common future here.
So what exactly are minimum income schemes, and why is the European Union betting on them to help fight against poverty? Here's a quick crash course.
The EU aims to help at least 15 million people out of poverty by 2030. Minimum income schemes are one of the ways to help them live a better life. They offer 3 kinds of support: cash payments to cover living expenses and help pay the bills, advice and assistance on how to find a decent job, help with important things like social services, transport, energy and education. Minimum income is a key principle in the European Pillar of Social Rights. There are several problems with the existing schemes. In most EU countries, the level of benefits is well below the poverty line. Large numbers of people are not eligible or don't take up the help that's available. Now the EU is running a series of 9 projects to test new ways to reach out and deliver support to those who need it most.
An estimated 95 million people in the EU are at risk of poverty or social exclusion. For the transnational coordinator of the CRIS project, the German minimum income is a good model, although he says there's room for improvement.
So we cover the full cost of housing, and we cover a rate for the livelihood which is sufficient but on a very low level. So there always should be an incentive to take up work to earn more money. So that's a basic principle in Germany as well. There's much room for improvement to integrate those different services, support for young people, for youth, health services, housing services, to become more effective and more efficient.
I think the CRIS project is very good. They treat us, my husband and children, well and help us. When I or my children receive letters from the authorities and other institutions and don't understand them, they help us, and they are very respectful to us.
The European Union has made a recommendation to member states on how to improve their minimum income schemes. Their reforms should focus on coverage and take-up, access to labor markets and services, individualized support, and effective supervision. Will it be enough to help fight against poverty in the European Union? I traveled to Antwerp in Belgium to find out. Hello, Professor. Nice to meet you.
Good morning. Welcome in Antwerp.
Thank you very much. So I first wanted to ask you, as an expert on social policy,
What is your view on minimum income and the way they're currently applied across the EU?
Well, I would like to start by saying that the fact that in the EU all member states have minimum incomes protection as a last resort safety net for all citizens is extremely important. This is, for instance, not the case in the US. And the past few years and decades, we saw that member states that were lagging behind, they catched up.
The EU is pushing for a recommendation on minimum income, but a recommendation is non-binding. Why isn't the EU pushing for a directive or a regulation in this matter?
There have been many initiatives, but I would say that the strongest initiative up till now is the text that we have in this proposal. First of all, you have to settle the minimum wages, then it becomes possible to think about a directive on minimum income protection. It's also difficult to define what basic needs are in the EU.
Is this also related to the structure of the European Union, where we see that social policy, labor policy is still largely in the hands of member states?
Absolutely, but it would be difficult to imagine how it could be different. You cannot think about a European minimum income scheme covering all citizens, all EU citizens in the same way. The differences across countries are much too big in terms of welfare levels, in terms of economic capacity, in terms of the social security systems, which are extremely different in different member states.
We just came back from Offenbach in Germany, where we saw a project that seeks to have a more holistic approach to minimum income. Do you think this is a way forward?
Absolutely, and therefore that is the reason why the local level and the level of the welfare agencies is so important, because you cannot help huge numbers of minimum income recipients. So important is the fact that minimum income schemes should remain a last resort for a limited number of people, because if the numbers increase, which is happening, then it becomes increasingly more difficult to implement such a holistic approach.
Back in Germany, the Milanov parents say the minimum income scheme they received will help support their children's future.
I want my children to finish their studies. I want them to become independent. We care about them as parents.